Hi everyone, I'm Mercedes and thanks again for joining me today for another recycling project. Well, on today's project we're going to be recycling our old t-shirts, old fabric scraps, and even our old tie-dye, and we're going to be making this Kanzashi inspired reversible messenger bag. So let's get started with our pattern making. The first pattern we're going to make is the messenger bag's body panel pattern. And I'm going to ask you to measure 13 inches from side to side and 14 inches from top to bottom. The next pattern that we need is the pocket flap pattern. Again, 13 inches from side to side, but the length is going to change from 17 inches from top to bottom. Now, why is that? Well, the first reason, and I'm going to grab my messenger bag to show you, is that during construction, the pocket flap and the body panel will be stitched at the back. That's going to give you those extra 3 inches in order for you to have enough room for your school books, notebooks, or anything else that you want to carry. Now, this bag is crushable, but during construction you can definitely add some interfacing. Now, the next pattern we're going to be working on is the side panel pattern. Now, you're going to measure 6 inches now from side to side, but we're going to be returning to that 14 inches from top to bottom. The next pattern, and just about the final pattern, is the bottom panel pattern. Very important because this is what's going to hold our things inside of our messenger bag. I'm going to ask you to measure 13 inches from side to side again, but now the top to bottom length is 6 inches. I'm going to do a little mock demonstration, so I'm going to need some of those creative imagination skills that I'm sure all of you guys out there have. Now, if these were your cut fabric parts, if you can notice, those 14 inches from top to bottom do have to be exact, and then the 13 inches from side to side also needs to be exact to make sure that everything aligns perfectly. I do strongly suggest that you notch all of your patterns because we will have a lot of fabric parts to cut out in the next segment. Now, if you want to recycle your old t-shirt and you want to keep that cool looking graphic, then don't do the quilting inspired portion. Just skip through it and just cut the whole pocket flap pattern out of one full piece. But if you want to make the Kanzashi inspired quilting, then follow our pattern at 4.5 by 4.5 inches in width and length. The last pattern, and the trickiest part of all when you're recycling, is the strap. Now, the finished strap is going to be 48 inches by 3.25 inch in width. Now, why is it tricky? Well, we just never know what's in that fabric bin, and we also need the larger parts of the t-shirt to cut the body and the pocket flap. So whatever you have left over, you can make one side to be a quilted inspired, and then you could stitch the facing using larger pieces of fabric scraps. Well, thanks again for joining me today. If you missed any of the measurements, please feel free to join me at www.m721organics.com. On the home page, there's a free download. If you'd like to purchase some of our eco-crafting projects with some patterns, you're more than welcome to do so. Please remember to continue to recycle, continue to recreate, and continue to reinvent you because you're worth it. Thanks again, and I hope to see you guys again very, very soon. Take care.